Hello viewers and welcome to News MTV. I am Makanaka Masenyama. Stories making the headlines. Gays and lesbians tear into marriage bill in the courts. Muchinguri Matema sued for $8.3 million in business. Budget deficit could trigger uncontrolled inflation. And in sports, Grant Flower sacked as Pakistan betting coach. News in greater detail. Finance Minister Mthuli Ncube has been taken to task over the lack of clarity around which currency used in the original budget in November and his supplementary budget that he presented to Parliament last week. MD Simbizo MP Settlement Chikwinya argued that when the original budget was passed, the rate between the US dollar and the local bond note were 1:1.
When we passed the budget in 2018 in December, our rate was 1:1 between the US dollar and the RTGS. So $1 million which we passed for a particular vote in December 2018 does not even reflect to $1 million today. It was then devalued by a factor of 9 for the prevailing interbank rate. But however, in this presentation, the Honorable Minister in the Blue Book combines these figures. He takes the budget as of December and the budget as of July and combines the figures as if the value of the money was the same. It's not the same. That's true.
Opposition MPs also argued that Ncube had not given lawmakers ample time to discuss the supplementary budget set to be debated and passed Thursday with their constituents. Government last month announced the dissolution of the multi-currency regime that had obtained for the last 10 years and effectively introduced the local currency for the first time since its implosion in 2008. A local lobby group advocating for the rights of gays and lesbians has described the current marriages bill as discriminatory. Gays and Lesbians Association of Zimbabwe Programs Manager Sam Matsikure told newzimbabwe.com in an interview that the bill in its current state is not accommodative of their needs as a community. Matsikure said for as long as the proposed new marriage amendment bill does not talk about same-sex marriage, it remains unaccommodative. The bill outlaws same-sex marriages as prohibited by the Constitution. Government is in the process of realigning the country's marriage laws to the new constitution adopted at a referendum in 2013. Last week, Cabinet succumbed to pressure and struck off Section 40 of the bill, which was construed by some to empower small houses and promote adultery, a colloquial term for extramarital affairs, indicating this part of the proposed law was against Zimbabwe's culture and traditional norms. A day after President Emmerson Mnangagwa declared the country's hunger situation a state of disaster, the US government reacted first, pouring some $45 million as relief for the acute food shortages facing the southern African nation. The United Nations on Tuesday launched a $331.5 million international aid appeal to help Zimbabwe tackle a crippling drought which has left millions facing hunger and in need of relief for the next 9 months. U.S. Ambassador to Zimbabwe Brian Nichols, in his address at the launch of the appeal Tuesday, said his country has become the leading contributor to humanitarian assistance in Zimbabwe. Poor weather conditions in the country, including erratic rainfall and long dry spells, have contributed to increased humanitarian needs across Zimbabwe. Police in Botswana have confirmed the arrest of 9 Zimbabwean males and a Motswana on Tuesday morning after the suspects were found in possession of 15 mobile communication tower batteries belonging to different companies. The Botswana Police Service Director of Crime Intelligence, Senior Assistant Commissioner Nunu Lesetedi, in a statement confirmed the arrest of 10 men who were in possession of 15 mobile network batteries worth thousands of dollars at a police roadblock in Dibete. Lesetedi said the suspects comprised 9 Zimbabwean male citizens and 1 Motswana male citizen aged between 37 and 42 years who were intercepted on their way from Gaborone to the north. The suspects are still in police custody while investigations are continuing. In the courts, the after effects of the violent protests early this year, triggered by a 150% fuel price hike, could hit 2 members of President Emmerson Mnangagwa's cabinet hard after Defense Minister Ophamchinguri Kashiri and her Home Affairs counterpart Kane Matema were slapped with lawsuits totaling $8.3 million. Muchinguri Kashiri and Matema will have to defend applications made with the High Court by individuals who were allegedly assaulted and buzzed by soldiers, as well as police officers in the chaos that rocked the country in January this year. In June alone, Muchinguri Kashiri and Matema were jointly sued for over $1 million by individuals who claimed to have been brutalized by soldiers and the police. The ministers are yet to respond. In business, the unavailability of revenue sources to fund government's deficit could trigger uncontrolled inflation, the Confederation of Zimbabwe Industries has warned. Confederation of Zimbabwe Industries chief economist Tafadzwa Bandama told captains of industry early this week that the recent mid-term budget review had failed to address the issue of how accrued fiscal deficits will be dealt with. She called for a streamlining of government ministries to emulate countries like Botswana, which have less than 10 ministries against Zimbabwe's 22. The country's inflation has risen to 176%, and the recent fuel hikes are likely to push it further upwards.
Many people have been asking me how did I manage it, because they could see that everything was there, everything was just happening, things were being paid. So I've told people that it was through Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan. So I would advise everyone to join this Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan.
We end with sports. Former Zimbabwe national cricket team batsman Grant Flower finally ended his 6-year stint as Pakistan batting coach on Wednesday after the Pakistan Cricket Board decided not to renew his contract. The Pakistan Cricket Board announced it had ended its association with long-serving Flower, along with head coach Mickey Arthur, bowling coach Azhar Mahmood, and fitness trainer Grant Luden. The decision comes following a review process undertaken in the aftermath of the World Cup, where Pakistan failed to reach the semi-finals. Reporting for newszimbabwe.com, I am Makanaka Masenyama. For this and more stories, visit our website www.newszimbabwe.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Newzim TV.